Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have the latest from the live radar, run for the weather warnings. So we do have more thunderstorm warnings issued over the next 36 hours for the rest of Sunday and for the whole of Monday for quite large areas, as we are going to see continued outbreaks of storms. Now look at that in detail on the latest UKV and Arome runs, looking at where the highest risk is. It does look like it could transition further northwards through Monday. Still further southwards is possible, but I think the main focus will be further northwards. And then, of course, we'll have a look at the longer range from the GFS, GM, Eastern OF and the ensembles, because although right now it's feeling like a real extension of summer as we head into the first few days of September, it does look like autumnal conditions could be on the horizon in around a week to 10 days' time. Starting to see some consistency now that cooler, more unsettled, fresher air masses could be returning come next working week. So remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now to start on the live radar, it has been another very warm, hot day, even warmer than what we've seen in the past week or so. Real pickup in temperatures for the first day of September, but it has also been accompanied by some thunderstorms in places. Now we have got a yellow warning in force for the rest of today, and you can see we have got thunderstorms still going on as I'm recording this around 7 p.m. Now in yesterday's video, if you did watch that, we were very uncertain about these thunderstorms because the UKV run yesterday, we had the 3 a.m. run and the 3 p.m. run. The 3 a.m. run was showing quite widespread thunderstorms, like what we're actually seeing. The 3 p.m. run was showing nothing at all. So we were very much on the fence over whether we'll actually see any storms. And in reality, we have seen storms. It does look like that 3 p.m. UKV run was a little bit anomalous there. So we have the Sim storm, so thankfully we did have a warning in force. We did look at other runs as well, but storms breaking out at the moment. They could die out a little bit overnight, but then really pick up through Monday morning. Now, where we have avoided the storms, as I said, it's been a very warm, hot day. And if we do put in the temperatures at 7 p.m, it is still very warm across parts of eastern and southern England, really just east of where we've seen those storms. Where those storms are initiated, that's where we've got slightly cooler air. And on that temperature boundary, that's where we are seeing those storms breaking out. Slight instability allowing that. In the southeast, though, we've got the very hot and humid air mass fully in control. And it has been pretty oppressive today. You wouldn't, you probably would be able to perfectly swap this day for a day in July. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous thinking that this is the first day of September. And in around 6 weeks' time, we could be talking about frosts, but it feels like we're in the tropics today. Now that warm feel will continue over the next couple of days, but it's not going to last this sort of temperature. And of course, it is this time of year. Temperatures will drop inevitably. Air masses can't hold this much heat this far northwards into September. So it's still going to be warm for the rest of this week. Could be dry, could be sunny, could still feel summery in many areas, but just not quite this oppressive, which I think a lot of people will be thankful for. Now, do put on the temperatures. You can see from now, well, here we've got widespread 27 to 29 degrees. So pretty much what we expected, maybe even slightly higher than what we expected, up and down the country, really, especially in that southern and eastern corner though, but even areas further north had seen mid to high 20s. Lake and Heath Royal Air Force Base showing 31. I do think that is an anomalous result. We had this last week where we saw there it was a couple of degrees higher than other stations, so perhaps there's a little bit of an issue going on there. But if we take a sort of the average of the rest of them, it's 27 to 29. So very warm, very oppressive, and very summery to start the first day of autumn. Now, if you look at the weather warnings now, we have got a thunderstorm warning issued for the rest of today. It's the same warning we looked at yesterday. It's just been extended to last all the way through the evening. And you can see it's for that section from central, southern and southwestern England through Wales, the West Midlands, up towards generally northern England, up towards southern and eastern Scotland. It'll expire at midnight tonight. And again, 30 to 40 millimetres in less than an hour, maybe 60 to 80 millimetres. And if we do go back to the live radar, we'll be able to see those storms breaking out right now. You can see there is one area of storms just towards the West Midlands. This started across central southern England, where there's another small batch of storms there. Then it's headed slowly northwards throughout the day. And then we've had this other area of heavy showers with a few storms mixed in it, slowly heading northwards as well. These could die out a little bit overnight tonight, but could pick up again as we head into the morning. If we go back to the weather warnings, we have got warnings issued for Monday, and it's quite a bit more widespread, this warning, covering the majority of England, about half of Wales, and much of southern and eastern Scotland. And again, I don't think all areas in here are going to see storms, but I think this is the high risk zone. It's from midnight tonight until midnight tomorrow, so the full 24 hours of Tuesday. Again, we won't see storms throughout the full 24 hours, but within here, the storm risk is high. You can see on Monday, areas of heavy showers and thunderstorms are likely to be ongoing from overnight and expected to continue to affect parts of the UK through the day. The focus for storms and impacts is expected to gradually move east later in the day. And that is expected with that low pressure slowly nudging in from the west. 30 to 40 millimetres in a couple of hours, maybe 60 to 80 millimetres in a couple spots. Frequent lightning and hail will be additional hazards. Again, medium impact and very low likelihood. So again, another blanket thunderstorm warning. If you're on the zone, it's not guaranteed you'll see a storm. It's not even guaranteed you'll see any rain. But this is the region where we expect storms to break out somewhere. Now, if we do look at the UKV now, we'll be able to look at the focus for those storms through the rest of tonight. You can see the storms breaking out early this afternoon, slowly transitioning northwards, and you see they die out a little bit overnight tonight, but then we could see a few more isolated storms across parts of the East Midlands, North East England breaking out through the early hours of Monday, and then really picking up through the morning with a stretch of storms through much of the Midlands up towards northern and northwestern England. Does look like it's a line developing there, so it could be really lively indeed, and it slowly transitions northwards and eastwards throughout the rest of Monday, and then into Monday evening, more storms breaking out across central and eastern England, slowly decaying into Tuesday. So you can see not all areas here are going to see thunderstorms all 24 hours of Monday, but it's going to slowly move around initially across central western areas, transition northwards through the day, and then we can see another batch of storms breaking out in eastern areas through the afternoon and evening. Now, if we do head later through Tuesday, you can see eventually into Tuesday afternoon, we do see much fresher conditions with a westerly flow. Again, fresher in terms of relative. It's still going to be warm. It's still going to be above average, just fresher compared to what we've had today. No 28 or 29 degrees here on Tuesday. As we head through Wednesday, we do see higher pressure starting to make a bit more of control. So still some showers around, but it is turning drier. And then into Thursday, we could see some rain coming in from the west, from the east in southern areas. Again, we need to keep a close eye on that because high pressure is to our north, trying to extend in, but here it keeps lower pressure to our south with a bit of a cut-off low, producing these showers. We'll have to wait and see near the time for the severity and widespread nature of that. But there could be some more extensive rain there through Thursday in southern areas. We'll have to wait and see. Now, do put on the upper air temperatures. You can see it is very warm at the moment. Upper air temperatures up towards the high teens, 17, 18 degrees, a proper summery heat wave air mass. But it is moving away through Monday with slightly cooler conditions pushing in, and through Tuesday, still looking average to above average, just nowhere near as hot as it is today. As we transition into Wednesday, actually some slightly fresher conditions coming for a time, but later in the week we do see the warmth return, especially further northwards for Friday. Again, it's stuck under that higher pressure. Southern areas could have more lower pressures. So kind of a bit of a role reversal. High pressure actually to our north and east, pulling in an easterly wind. Very warm air masses still across Europe. This would be cold in about 2 months' time, but right now it is still warm. And then that cooler air is pushed further southwards. So we'll have to wait and see later this week. But brief cool down during the early to middle part of the week. Then it could warm up again towards the latter part of the week into the weekend. And then it's that following week where the risk of much fresher conditions does come in. Now, if you look at the max temperatures, you can see today, we'll look at that widely mid to high 20s. And in reality, it's actually been slightly hotter than this. So UKV underdoing it a little bit here. as we head into Monday. Temperatures could be warm once again, low to mid-20s, again, could see 25, 26, but I do think, again, it will be dependent on the thunderstorms. As we head into Tuesday, it will be a little bit fresher, more widely 18 to kind of 22 degrees, still warm, still pleasant for September, and then until Wednesday, similar conditions, maybe more towards the high teens, and then into Thursday, starting to warm up from the west, but with more of that rain in southern areas, it could be slightly fresher. Then I'm expecting Friday to be much warmer. You can see by 3 a.m, it's still 17 to 18 degrees, so very muggy conditions could return for the latter part of the week. We'll have to see exactly how it does play out for that rain on Thursday, because that will have a big impact on the temperatures. But regardless, it looks warm, it looks like it could be turning muggier, and it looks like it could be turning drier once again through Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Now, I also want to compare the thunderstorms over the next 24 hours with the latest Ciaran run. You can see the thunderstorms breaking out this afternoon, slowly transitioning northwards, and really where we expect at the moment. We've got that area towards the West Midlands, down towards southwest England, and we have that area just towards northern England into Scotland. Now, that will continue over the coming hours, and it could have a bit of a lull during the late hours of this evening. Still quite active across parts of Wales, but then as we head into Monday morning, activity could really pick up, kind of following on the back of those storms in Wales to a larger system, and maybe some storms further eastwards, and then just generally lots of heavier rain spiralling in during the afternoon. Not really as much of a big thunderstorm outbreak during the afternoon, evening in eastern areas. Showers breaking out, but not many darker reds there. So again, a little bit of skepticism with how much activity we will see, but definitely looks like big batch of heavy rain and storms through the morning, slowly transitioning northwards throughout the day, and then more outbreaks of showers with some isolated storms throughout the rest of Monday afternoon, slowly dying out into Tuesday. So got a lot of activity from the Ciaran run. Not particularly easy setup to forecast, because we've kind of got multiple little areas popping up that could all merge together. We could see some pop-up storms. We're seeing storms sort of developing within little troughs. So it is quite a big mix of conditions with those storms out there at the moment. Very difficult to predict. The best way really to look at this is, if you have got plans, if you are planning to go out, just have a look at the live radar and look to the south and to the southwest specifically tomorrow. That's where everything will be coming from. So if you can see 50 miles to your southwest, there are thunderstorms very close by, then you might want to either delay what your plans are, or maybe do it very quickly, as these storms will be moving through quite quickly. And there's that southwesterly direction that they will be coming from. So I think that's the best strategy really in these sort of scenarios, where it is very much pop-up storms, small little areas that could really activate at very short notice. The best way is to have a look at that live radar. Now, if you do have a look at the longer range now to finish the video, if we start on the GFS, you can see we've got this little trough developing between these two areas of high pressure, and this is what's producing those thunderstorms at the moment. Eventually that trough will fill in and we see higher pressure return for later this week, but we still got the remnants of that low just to our south, and it's how much that impacts England or Wales will decide how much rain we see Thursday, maybe into Friday. But for northern areas, it's much drier, and if we put on the air mass, it is actually quite a lot warmer as well. Now into the weekend, we see that low trying to push northwards, but it does kind of lose its intensity. So it's very touch and go here, whether we stay dry and warm or whether we go thundery once again. But the one thing we are seeing is, if you watch those greens in the North Atlantic, unfortunately, the following working week, they start to come our way. Low pressure starts to push in off the Atlantic, and we start to see these much fresher conditions pushing in. Again, it doesn't look too horrible here because we are still in September, so the air masses aren't horrible or terrible or anything really wintry. But if we put in the temperature deviation, lots more blues heading in off the North Atlantic, a lot more than what we're seeing at the moment, where it's mainly yellows and oranges with the brief pulse of blue at times. Very warm perhaps later this week, but it's in that longer range. We swap the yellows and oranges for a lot more blues, as we do see the jet stream start to activate. If we look at the 300 HPA wind, jet stream start to activate, coming in from a flat westerly, picking up cool air that is starting to develop across Greenland into the backside of these low pressure systems, and generally turning things cooler and more unsettled. A more traditional autumnal pattern could be coming up for the middle third of September. So yes, does look like we'll see a bit of an extension of summer throughout the rest of this upcoming week, but then into the following week, it could cool down quite significantly. Now, if you look at the latest GM, again, we do see that little low pressure system involved at the moment. High pressure extends in towards later this week, turning it much drier and warmer. That low is much further southwards and nowhere near as intense. Actually, it looks really quite pleasant for later this week into next weekend. But similar to the GFS, those lows exit out of Iceland and Greenland and head our way, turning much fresher indeed towards day 10. And you can see this with all these blues developing on the upper air temperature deviations, so turning much, much fresher into the following week, unfortunately. And again, not only will it be cooler air masses, it will also be rain. And if we do look at the surface temperatures, you can see max 15 to 17 degrees. Again, not terrible, but a lot cooler than what we've seen today and what we'll see for the rest of this week. You get 5 degrees cooler then for 5 to sort of 8 degrees cooler than much of the highs this week, and it will also be the rain coming in off the Atlantic, lots of showers and lots of fresher conditions. And finally, if we compare to the ECMWF, again, we've got that small low pressure system involved at the moment. High pressure extends in later this week. That low to our south is nowhere to be seen. So again, UKV, GFS developing that maybe a little bit by themselves at the moment. Upper air temperatures are looking warm and very pleasant all the way to later this week. And then eventually towards day 10, look at that proper fresh Arctic air starts to move in, and it would turn pretty chilly indeed with this, with the first kind of proper north to northwesterly winds that we've seen in months. It's bound to happen. We are heading towards winter, but it could be quite a shock to the system, going from mid to high 20s on the weekend to maybe only mid-teens here or low teens by the middle of the week. Again, it is, looking very, very chilly with that air mass pushing in. Again, if we look at those upper air temperatures, getting below freezing, -1, -2, or even cooler. And that's the kind of the average winter air starting to move in, unfortunately. Now, we can see this all on the latest ensembles. These are the latest GFS, the midday run. It's just running at the moment, so it's not fully out, but we've got the majority of the days here. We've got 14 of the days here. You can see very warm at the moment, dropping towards average for a couple of days this week, and then back towards average by later this week. But lots of precipitation here. Bit of a contrast to what we saw from the ECMWF operational, and the GEM, which had that low pressure nowhere to be seen to our south. So that's still something we need to decipher, but much warmer later this week and into the weekend. And then as we head into the following week, around that 10th, 11th of September, we see quite a big drop to average or even below average for the middle to second half of that following week. And we'll take a big hit to those 2 meter temperatures. Widely still 20 to 25 degrees this week, and then it could be dropping more towards the teens, mid-teens for the following week. And if you compare to the ECMWF, again, it's broadly similar over the next week to 10 days. Very warm at the moment, dropping towards average for the middle part of the week, maybe slightly below average for a period of time. Then above average later this week. Precipitation is there, nowhere near as frequent, given there are more ensemble members showing here. Again, that's something we'll have to decipher later this week. Definitely though drier further northwards, and then a big drop off in temperatures in the following week with more precipitation. So again, strong signal that it could be turning much cooler and much more unsettled as we head into the second and third week of September. So still got lots of summery conditions coming up over the next few days. Lots of hot weather still in places, especially later this week. Could be seeing mid to high 20s again in a few spots. Again, a little bit of uncertainty with the rain with that. And the next few days will be humid, will be warm, low to mid 20s for many, and there will be a lot of thunderstorms as well. So do stay safe out there. And if you don't like this heat, you want something cooler, then as I said, that is looking like it's on the horizon, with much fresher conditions returning for in around sort of 7, 8, 9 days time. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.